Hello, everybody. It's Hags from Perth. I'm waiting for Dmitri. I've accepted it. Where is it? There it is.
Voila,
Voila. How are you?
I'm okay. And you?
Good, good. It's dark here, 11 o'clock at night, 10 past 11.
No, we have only 6 p.m. So we are
Beautiful.
finished work. So we want to speak with you about Mainsprings.
Mainsprings, these
You are
ones.
received. You are received all of them.
Yes,
So
thank you.
we need to know your opinion.
I'm very excited about the 7 pound mainspring. It's my favorite. And when we combine the 7, because we go all the way up 8, 9, 10, 11, the 7 is beautiful for when we shoot double action in production.
Mm-hmm.
For example, with the Eemann Tech springs, the 7 and the recoil spring and the reduced trigger spring, we can get the double action down to about 5.2, 5.3 pounds,
Mm-hmm.
which is perfect for the double action, and we still get positive ignition with Federal primers and Winchester primers. Very, very good.
So
Very happy.
5 pounds is allowed in IPC.
Up to 5 pounds, perfect. Anything below 5 pounds, you will fail.
Okay.
Double action.
So 7 is enough, or you have some requests for 6 or 5 pounds?
No, I think we're pushing the limit with a 5 or a 6. I think the 7 is absolutely perfect, and the consistency in the springs, because I've installed these in about
Mm-hmm.
30 or 40 guns, the consistency is very, very good. They're
Because
all very accurate.
we have sometimes some requests for 6 pounds. So
And what kind of primer is that?
people like make some experiments.
Look, I think it works. There's no problem.
Mm-hmm.
But if I think only about production division, where we have the 5 pound limit,
Okay.
um, I've seen double action down to 3.5 pound. They work very, very well. But this is
Mm-hmm.
not in the line with the rules for production.
Yes, but not all people want to install 7. So someone wants more, 8, 9. So what do you think? We have enough range of mainsprings in catalog?
Absolutely. I think absolutely the mainsprings are covered well. If anything, because now we start to think about other divisions, some people are
Mm-hmm.
using the gun in standard minor with all the parts that Eemann is producing now with the thumb rest and the single action trigger, the flat triggers, the hammers. There's possibility for someone to want to go lighter because there is no requirement for a 5 pound double action. So
Okay.
it makes sense, maybe.
Mm-hmm. So maybe I show what all mainsprings packed in blister pack, and you see the power. Yes, it's not marked or not colored, but you buy only one mainspring for yourself. You know what power is it. So I think it's enough.
And also, I like to put this inside my bag where my gun is with
Mm-hmm.
all the cards, so I know what is exactly installed in my firearm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So we can continue to produce more of them and supply worldwide.
Yes, please. They're very popular in Australia, and people love them. A lot of people don't even know they can
Mm-hmm.
reduce the spring weight to drop the double action. So it's very, very good to promote it. Um,
Okay.
we also like this very much. Your disconnector.
It's a new one.
It's a brand new one, and it's very, very well manufactured. There it is there.
Yes, actually, you have first edition in your hands. So the main idea was to make a disconnector what can be installed like drop-in part, because 90% of shooters, they are not mechanics or they don't have tools. All you need to remove original and install a new one and receive something what will change your trigger. So And we took two pistols, Shadow 1, Shadow 2, and made this part. It's mostly fitted for Shadow 2, but also very well working with Shadow 1 pistol. So it's not removing fully the free space in your trigger Volco, but it's removing 99% because as you can show, the free Volk must be, you need to feel your trigger. You need to feel, yes. Because if we make it bigger, so it's fully will be removed. It's not good for the feeling of your trigger.
Correct. So this is a drop-in part, this disconnector from Eemann Tech, and
actually I have the same.
And
so,
look at the pre-travel in this trigger.
Yeah,
I've got about 2 mils. If I wanted to make that a bit longer to match up a different gun, which this one's got about, it's got about 4 mils. All you need to do is remove a little bit of material from the underside here, and you can increase that free travel on the trigger. But they're amazing little parts because they just drop in, and we've had no issues with them at all, and we've installed them in a lot of guns.
Also, what we focused on those tubes.
The wings?
The wings, yes. They made a very precise with 90 degrees. So when they start to work together with trigger bar, your trigger is very, you feel it very sensitive. So it's very sharp, very precise. Not like
very positive.
Like with meme part. So
yeah,
it can be very precise.
This firearm with all the Eemann Tech springs and the legal modifications with the new disco, we've got a double action of around 5.2 pounds, 5.3 pounds, very smooth. And the single action is exactly where I want it at 1.4.
Okay.
It is amazing for slapping, and it's really, really crisp. Incredible little part.
Yes. So this is a completely new part, and it's very popular. And we really recommend it if you want to make a competition trigger on your chiseled pistol.
Do you want to tell the viewers why you include the pin for this part?
We're still working on it, and I think in a new version we start to supply with this trigger pin. So
okay. Right.
Yeah.
Very good.
Now we have disconnector with trigger pin, because if you disassemble the factory trigger group hammer with disconnector, it's pressed. So
it's been staked in position.
Yeah, it's not so easy to remove, and then impossible or very hard to install back. So we supply disconnector with a new trigger pin, so you can very easy install by your hands. And in next time, if you want to disassemble, it's also very easy.
Very easy to come out. Yeah. The other thing that I really like that goes with the springs, the mainspring reduced, is the reduced trigger return spring, which reduces the amount of pressure that you feel when the trigger resets into that position, or in single action from there to there. And it does reduce the overall weight of the double action, especially, and it makes it a lot smoother. It's a little bit tricky to install, but there are a few videos that I've got up and a few other people, and I'll put a different one up at some time to show you 2 different ways to install that, because that's the most difficult part people find to install in their firearm.
Yes, but we are working on it now, and I have an idea and making a special tool how to install. It's very easy.
A tool to install this?
Yeah, it will be very small but very helpful tool. So, and as you remember, we have 3 different trigger springs. One is a copy of original, one is your favorite, very light, and one is extreme. It's a stronger one, factory.
So it's a plus
10%. Yeah, it's more heavy. Because
is that for the people that get trigger freeze?
No, for those people who can feel and to feel more
pressure.
the trigger. Yeah, trigger return. They need faster. So It's like half people thinking what trigger spring must be more weaker, and another part of people thinking what trigger spring must be more stronger, more heavy, because heavy spring return faster your trigger and you can push again more faster.
Wow. So which one do you sell more of? Or is it 50-50?
We try to satisfy everyone. We have heavy spring, we have weak spring.
And which one wins the race, the heavy or the weak?
Of course, more popular weak, because all shooters, they advertise and recommend only weak springs.
Very true. It's good to know that there's the heavy one as well.
Yeah.
Before I forget, Dmitri, I just want to remind people that if you're not sure what recoil spring you need for your pistol, Eemann do a calibration pack.
It's a color springs.
It's color-coded springs, and they each rated to their own weight, and you can decide what works best for your load and your setup on your firearm. Because like you're shooting a very heavy projectile, and I'm shooting a light projectile, and maybe we need a different spring to balance the gun out depending on our grip and the recoil impulse. So it's nice to exactly. So it's very nice if you're not sure to buy a calibration pack, and this one runs from, oh, Dmitri, you might know, from a 8
to 12.
No, 9, 10, 11 to 12. Yeah.
Yes.
So there's 4 weights there, and once you settle on the one you like, then you know which spring to buy in the future just to replace it.
So next time I have some new products, and next time I tell you about my new ideas. It will be trigger bar spring.
Trigger bar spring. The trigger lifter spring, that one?
Yes, but it will be a little bit different, because for trigger bar, this spring is really heavy. If you disassemble your gun, remove slide and try to push on the trigger bar, it's very heavy. So it's all new project, and a new magazine catch spring for ladies and for weak hands. So because factory spring is very heavy, you cannot push.
It is very heavy.
A lot of requests, because people cannot use the Shadow 2 with small hands, or ladies, because it's a big large frame and very heavy magazine catch spring. So
well, I have experience with some of my students that are shooting very well with small hands. They struggle to get a good grip on the gun, and a reduced reach trigger helps very much. Are you thinking about doing a reduced reach trigger at some point, Dmitri?
What?
Reduced reach. So some companies are making a system for the gun that reduces the reach of the double action, brings it closer to the front.
No.
Not at the moment.
We are talking only about magazine catch spring.
Magazine catch.
More weaker.
Okay. So some people have been bending that spring to make it weaker, but then
very heavy. For them, it's very heavy.
Very heavy, and sometimes when they make it too weak by bending it, because that's a modification some people do, when you pick up your gun off the table, you can bump that magazine out.
Yes.
So it's got to be tuned right, and I think making one specifically for that is very, very good. Excited to hear that.
But we are collecting feedbacks every month, every quarter, making decision what people need in the future.
Excellent.
So this is all small news. But thank you, Paul. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
You need to go to the bed. It's too late.
It's too early. I'm going to start cleaning guns.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Have a good time.
Thank you.
Take care.
And see you next time.
Bye, guys. Bye.
Bye.